Good morning if you're in the West Coast. Good afternoon if you're in the East Coast. Good evening if you're in Europe or Turkey watching us. Welcome to the inaugural session of the OTSA Co-op. The OTSA Co-op is our third series of online virtual gatherings. The first series that we started is What's Up in Ottoman and Turkish Studies, which we do on a very regular basis, monthly, with each month either one of our prize recipients or a project, preferably a participant panel discussing something going on in Ottoman and Turkish studies. We started then Turkey Now, which was a panel series that was meant for more of a sort of significant online events that, address something that's going on very contemporary in Turkey. And we do them a little bit sort of rarely, not as often as every month. We call them occasional. And then this third series, the OTSA Co-op, is another occasional series where we are hoping to address issues of technology, methodology that relates to research and teaching. And I'm happy to report we already received a request for another panel in this series, and you'll probably hear about that soon. The reason we chose this particular event for the inaugural session, entitled From Muteferrika to Muteferrika.com, Navigating the Digitized Ottoman Materials in Print, is that I think it's a pretty revolutionary thing that our colleague Ozan Ceyhan will show today. If you are doing research in early modern history, European history, you'd be familiar with early English books online. You'd be familiar with 18th century online, where you go online and all of a sudden you have access to oceans of books that you could search. So what Ozan is going to share with us today is, I think, something similar that will be possible now, is becoming possible for Ottoman Turkish texts. But I'm not going to say much more. Ozan will tell you all about it. I'm only going to show you just 3 more slides about our upcoming What's Up meetings for the summer. So on July 21st, we'll have Geographies and Histories of the Ottoman Supernatural Tradition with my dear colleague Marinos Saryannis chairing it from Crete. And this is a European Research Council funded project with many participants, and some of the participants will be sharing what they've been doing. Then in August, on August 27th, we'll have the Greek Revolution and Ottoman Studies, Problems, Methods, and Revisions, which is the continuation of a panel that actually took place at the Delphi Economic Forum. And there you will hear from Hakan Erdem, Ioannis Grigoriadis, Şükrü Ilıcak, and Christine Filliou. And this beautiful image is something that Christine Filliou suggested for this poster. I really thank her. And the panel will be chaired by Cemal Kafadar. And then in September, we'll have another European Research Council funded research project presented by Yannis Spiropoulos, also from Crete, Janissaries in Ottoman port cities, Muslim financial and political networks in the early modern Mediterranean, with 3 of the project participants presenting. So do register for them, and hopefully you can join us. Now I'm going to pass the screen by stopping my share to Ozan Ceyhan, who will tell you about what they've been doing at Miletos and how they came up with this incredible search engine. Ozan, go ahead.
Thank you, Professor Vaki. I'm going to share my screen first. Yes, I think you can see now. First of all, thank you for your invitation, Baki, and thanks for your nice appearance in our session for the participants. Today I'm going to talk about our voyage from İbrahim Müteferrika to Muteferriqa.com, the navigating the digitized Ottoman materials in print. My name is Ozan Ceyhan. I am a historian working in an AI company, Miletos. Today, I'm going to start with Shakespeare, because while preparing this presentation, we came up that indexing and cataloging, table of contents, classifying, grouping information has always been an aim for humanity. And one of the earliest mentions mentions of indexes was in Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida in early 17th century. And he says that, and in such indices, although small pricks to their subsequent volumes, there is seen the baby figure of the giant mass of things to come at last. This is a lovely summary from the lovely poet of Shakespeare, that how indexes work. And to give a milestones of information processing, we can summarize that the table of content was a great milestone around 100 BC. The catalog, the late 15th century, after Gutenberg's printing press, was a milestone. And Google search engine also was the catalogs and index and information processing, and also information retrieval milestone. And like Shakespeare, our lovely İbrahim Müteferrika also mentions the importance of catalogs, fihrist in Ottoman Turkish. In Vesulet-i Tiba, in 1726, the treatise of İbrahim Müteferrika presented to the Grand Vizier İbrahim Pasha, he mentions the opportunities of the printing press and print materials in early 18th century, and he says that at the beginning of the books there are table of contents, and at the end of the books there is indexes of words, and it helps you to reach information easily by the printing press. And this is where we get our inspiration from İbrahim Müteferrika to Muteferriqa.com. And this is what we are trying to do today, to bringing Muteferriqa's vision to 21st century. This is how it looks like Ottoman Turkish search engine Muteferriqa. I'm going to show in details in our demo. What we do, what Muteferriqa does, basically search and discovery features are like, you can search in Ottoman Turkish and in Latin script, like single words or multiple word phrases. You can search in metadata, combine queries and filter your results. And beyond that, you have a fuzzy search and wildcard search opportunities and content-based recommendation. As I said, you will see in demo in details. And user interface is one of the most important feature, I think, because easy to use is very important, because digitalization movements brings with high resolution images can have large sizes and hard to use in computers and slow internet connections and etc. So we developed a tool for straightforward navigation, and beyond that, while you do your keyword search, you highlight your phrases and dynamic page views, and also beyond that, accurate results in short order. We also have full text and metadata auto-completion, virtual Ottoman Turkish keyboard, because not always everyone has the Arabic keyboard in their computer, and personalization, which I'm going to show you just now. So this is our Muteferriqa periodicals tool. Let me start with the collection. For this demo, we have 4 journals, Servet-i Fünun, Takvim-i Vekai, Tanin, and Tercüman-ı Hakikat. In total, we have 11,000 issues of all these periodicals. As all the Ottoman historians familiar that these 4 of them are very famous ones in Ottoman press. And for example, when you choose Servet-i Fünun, here are the lists of periodicals in date order. And for example, when you choose one of them, you will reach the journal, the issue. On the left side, there is a menu. It starts with the metadata information. And Servet-i Fünun, as the Servet-i Fünun is a listed journal, you can click with the show me the whole pages opportunity, because it's sometimes better to just check the images and show them on the pages easily. And we also have content-based recommendation tool. It brings the similar issues of journals which have similar content. Like for example, in this issue, we have railroads, let's see, like bridges and trains and etc. And when we click one of the similar items, you will see that like the railroads again, the construction for bridges and etc. The last button of the left side menu is bookmarking. You can bookmark the issue you would like to add in your bookmarking lists. On the right side, there is the profile menu. And in the bookmarks, you're going to see your issue journal in your bookmarks list. So let's go back and have a keyword search. This is our virtual keyboard for Ottoman Turkish. And if we are in OTSA, and let's start with Osmanlı. Search for Osmanlı, let's say. Here are the results, which includes the word Osmanlı, Takvim Vekai, and the issues. On the left side, there is a filter for date. You can narrow your search, like with this filter opportunity. And let's filter this among this. And here are the filtered results. And when we click one of them, Here you can see the word Osmanlı is highlighted. At the bottom of the page, there are pins which shows the coordinates of the word Osmanlı highlighted. You can see. And this is the search insights search box. On the yellow buttons are the searching features of Muteferrika. And let's start, we start with Osmanlı, the basic search. And if we are looking for the Osmanlı plus suffixes, we add asterisk at the end of the word. So let's do that. Osmanlı, and at the end, we added asterisk. And let's see. So you can see that now, before that, we just have Osmanlı here. Now we have Osmanlıların. Osmanlı. The word with the suffixes is the tool that you can use with asterisks. We also have, let's go back. We also have quotation mark, which helps you to find the phrases. For example, let's say Meclisi Mebusan, the parliament of Ottoman Empire. So you see that in Takvim ve Kayı, let's click one of the results. Here you can see that Meclisi Mebusan is highlighted as a phrase. It can be 2 words, 3 words, or 4 words. It depends on your the phrase you're looking for. Here again, Meclisi Mebusan, siyaseti aidiyesine. This is a nice example. In Muteferrika, we follow the line order. So you can see that Meclis is in the first line, Mebusan is in the second line. So in our layout abilities, we follow the line order and also the sentences, the continuous of sentences. So you cannot miss 2 words, even if the phrases are at different lines of pages. And this is how phrase search works. Let's go back again, and for the last one, we have tilde, the approximate search, which allows you to find similar words. In Ottoman Turkish, you all know that especially some foreign words can have different transcriptions. And the most famous painter in Ottoman Empire was Bellini, and Bellini can have different transcriptions. So let's search one of them. So this is the most common one, Bellini. And when you add tilde at the end of the the word. It shows you the similar combinations of the words which Bellini has. Let's click one of them. So here you can see that Bellini with he after the can be found in different lines. Let's check another result. Here you will see that Bellini has a different transcription. B, lam. There is no hair between B and lam here. So approximate search in Ottoman Turkish is very useful to find some foreign words. I study Darwinian perception in Ottoman and Republican period of Turkey, and I can say that by this approximate search tool, I found out that there are 4 or 5 different transcriptions of Darwin in Ottoman Turkish. So I think all the Ottoman scholars will enjoy this tool, especially working for the late period of Ottoman Empire and early Republican period also, of course. And we also have, let me come back again. We also have Latin search opportunity, especially in the late period of Ottoman Empire. The journals can have French and some other Western, the Latin alphabet texts in their periodicals. So we help you to find the Latin, to search in Latin texts in Ottoman and early Republican journals of Turkey. So here you can see that doctor in Latin transcript. So you can combine your search with Latin and Arabic script. So let's say in quotation mark Dr. Budin, and also add Arabic doctor. Let's see. Here the doctor alone, and here you can see that Dr. Budin in Latin and doctor in Arabic. So this is how we use in Latin text search and Arabic text search in Ottoman journals. We also have advanced search. Advanced search helps you to narrow your queries. So let's say I would like to search for Jami, and I would like to search in Tercüman, but the title includes Tercüman, or title takvim. And when you do the search, we are going to receive the results with Tercüman Hakikat and takvim vekai also. Let's click one of them. Here you can see that there are lots of Jami words are highlighted. I'm going to show you the dynamic page view opportunity, the feature, sorry, of Muteferrika. Here you can see that in some like Tercüman Hakikat, Tanin, like the large pages of newspapers, it can sometimes be hard to find the highlighted words in like a small in proportion. So we have, you can easily scroll down and scroll up. You can easily zoom in and zoom out in huge pages. And for example, let's go back. For example, you think that you cannot find the highlighted word. There is a magic wand like the Harry Potter ones. When you click them, it shows you the exact coordination of the word, highlighted word. Here you can easily find. You can change pages and also jump to the other match. Here you can rotate your page easily and zoom in and zoom out. So dynamic page view is also so important for Ottoman researchers because these pages are high resoluted, have high resolution images. So this dynamic page view makes you to easily zoom in and zoom out and follow your pages and lines. And at the end, I'm going to show you this help tool, which summarizes the features, search features that I mentioned during the demo. And we also have book collection, which with the same features. Like here are around more than 200 books for demo. You can sign in, log in, and make the search the same with the periodicals one. This is Muteferrika books. The other one is Muteferrika periodicals. And we come back to the presentation. Here we have two collections, Muteferrika periodicals, Muteferrika books. Muteferrika periodicals will include Hakkı Tarkus digital collection, Muteferrika books mainly the Seyfettin Özege rare words collection. Here are some numbers and details of two collections, like more than 1,500 titles in periodicals. It's more than 30,000 titles in books. Most of you are familiar, I guess. What we are going to do is also that to renovate the current HTU Tokyo University Foreign Studies Hakkı Tarkus collection website. On the left side, you'll see that this Tokyo University Foreign Studies HTU website's current image quality. This is what we are doing in Muteferrika. And we are going to renovate the current website of Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. It will lack search tools. Muteferrika will have a search option, the keyword search option. And one more example, this is the Asır Mecmuası. On the left side, this is hard to read. On the right side, we are using the original images, the master copies of images. And for this, I would like to thank TÜBİTAK gave us a grant for Osmanlıca matbu kitaplar için tam metin arama altyapısının geliştirilmesi, TÜBİTAK project. Kayako Hayashi, the president of Tokyo University of Forensic Studies, I would like to thank her because he helped us to find the images and gave us details about Tarkus collection. And Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, we are going to, we finished already. You can join, sign in this archive of journal archive of Istanbul Chamber of Commerce. They are going to announce soon, but you can visit and enjoy now. And of course, OTSA for inviting us and give us the opportunity to present our work Muteferrika to your dear participants. These are the websites I mentioned: the periodicals.muteferriqa.com and books.muteferriqa.com. Thanks for your patience. You can reach us on social media, and my email is ozan@miletos.co and info@muteferriqa.com. And these are the websites of our company and of our product Muteferriqa. Thank you. I'd like to have your questions.
Ozan, thank you. And actually, OTSA doesn't deserve any special thanks. We didn't do anything other than asking you to come and show us what you've been doing. And there's already a question in the chat, but I wanted to just underline a few things that I remember from our first conversation, which you already touched upon in your presentation, but so that everybody who's listening to us could also follow. Those of you who work on late Ottoman history and have used Hakkı Tarık Us collection as it is provided by the Japanese university source that Ozan specifically mentioned, might have experienced some troubles in access with various different things. So one of the things that you guys did, I think, is going to make that access much more regular and open to everybody. And then as you showed, you're going to make all of the pages much more visible and readable. And that will be open for everyone.
Yes, exactly.
And then the search engine part will be under Muteferriqa.
Yeah.
And in that search engine, eventually we will see all of these thousands of things, which right now we are only getting a little bit taste of the things to come. Am I understanding right? Like
exactly.
There was only Servet-i Fünun available early, the first time you put this online. I remember in our very first conversation.
Yes.
Today, I saw a few more journals added. Is this new? Is this like happened recently?
This is new. Everybody's learning right now in this OTSA meeting. You can search. Before that, Servet-i Fünun has around 1,000 issues. Now there are 11,000 issues of journals. One of the famous ones like the Tanin, Takvim Vakai, Tercüman Hakikat, and etc.
And then the books are also more recent edition.
Exactly.
The first time we talked,
this is also recent.
I didn't remember books. So now we have quite a few books as well, right?
Yes, we are going to add all the books, printed books, of course. This will be another database. There will be two databases, one for periodicals, one for books. And we aim to finish in few months, let's say.
That's wonderful. I have more questions, but I don't want to take time, and I will ask if questions stop. Let's go with the first one that was already written on chat from Orhan Elmaz. And in the meantime, please, if you want to ask a question, just raise your hand or write something on chat. I'm going to read Orhan Elmaz's question for the record because we have video recording and chat notices don't appear on video. So Orhan says, Merhabalar. Thank you very much for introducing us to the use of this search engine. Could I please ask what technology this is based on? Is it OCR pages, or are the periodicals being tagged and annotated? Any chance of adding more periodicals or making the underlying technology available? Okay, here we go. Go
Thank you.
ahead, Ozan.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question, Orhan. First of all, yes, in some level there is OCR. It's not tagged or then it's not annotated at all. But the OCR is just the first step of all these Muteferriqa, because OCRing is only converting images into texts. But the OCR tool is not implemented from some other company's products. OCR tool is also developed by our company, sorry, because we are focusing on document processing. We also have another product working in banks, like reading bank checks in Turkish banks. So we have our own OCR tool, but beyond that, OCR, like converting, retrieving the text from the images, is just at the beginning. It's just the thing. But beyond that, all this indexing and visualization, highlighting the highlighted words, like the search words, like the coordinates, combining all these images and text and like OCRs, it's very hard thing to resolve, I have to say. Yes, there is OCR, but there is more than that.
Okay, thank you. Will you make the Ottoman OCR plugin available?
Sorry, can you repeat? I couldn't.
Will you make the OCR for Ottoman? The OCR plugin, will you make it available to?
We haven't planned that, but maybe. I can say no. I can say yes, but we
because
don't have a plan.
Because there are some PDF editors that would allow for language extensions.
Yes.
There is no OCR plugin that is available for Ottoman. There is some for Arabic, and it works kind of. But of course,
we tried Arabic and Farsi OCR tools, but they are not working properly, like at the
which
the
is why
level
I'm
that we
asking.
want. Yeah, I know. Maybe someday, not soon, but maybe someday. Maybe Kürşat can answer this question.
Hi, this is Kürşat. I am from also Miletos. I'm one of the founders of Miletos. So, Orhan, to the answer to your question, yeah, we do OCR. We developed our own OCR through the years, but we also tag some stuff and annotate them. So we basically annotate every issue, right? The date information. We annotate the metadata. We do not have a plan to make this so this is proprietary software that we developed. So we are planning to offer universities and other research institutes two databases. One of them is the Periodicals, and the other one is the books database for for a subscription-based service. We do not have, at the meantime, the plan to make this freely available. Simply for the reason that we are not that rich. Does that answer?
Thank you very
question?
much. Yeah, sure. That did answer my question. Thank you so much, both of you.
We are planning to add more periodicals. So we, I think Ozan answered that already. But we plan to actually, our dream is to build, put everything together. So Hakatark is the first step of that. Actually, the more difficult step of it.
Now, thank you so much, Kürşat. Now there's another question in the chat, but before that, my colleague Victor, he had raised his hand. Victor, please go ahead. Victor Ostapchuk from Toronto joining us. Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, I have a question. It doesn't necessarily relate to your proprietary software, your system, about OCRing in general. About a year ago, and I work with Caroline Finkel on the Akin Fortress project. We were looking at Vauban's, the famous French fortress engineer. Many of his works have been translated into Ottoman, and we were looking for certain keywords like Zira and Arshin to really find out definitions. And it was impossible. I looked at some of the stuff, maybe your stuff. It was impossible to OCR. And the thing is, I just want to know conceptually, it's a two-part question. How well does your OCRing work? For example, we found that when you have sometimes for justification of margins, sometimes there'll be spaces, lines added between letters. Does your OCR pick that up? And do you have to correct it a lot as you go through it? That's my first question, and I'll ask a second question after that for the future.
I think Ozan answered that somewhat before, because do you remember the example with Meclis-i Mebusan? One line had, I think, Meclis, the other one had Mebusan, I think. So it was split in two lines. So what we do so the way the technology works is that you typically take a page, right? So it's always difficult for us to understand, but when computers see this is a bunch of zeros and ones, right? We have the sense of context, computers do not. So what we do first is to figure out the layout. Where are the text? Where are the pictures? We actually, it's not present in this version, but we identify what the pictures are, what the captions are. We identify the titles, subtitles, so on and so forth. And then, we figure out what the columns are, what are the lines are, so on. And then if you don't do them, if we had earlier versions, we weren't very picky about, we weren't so picky about, figuring out this, page structure so much, then, we had more issues. But when you go better into the structure, your accuracy, improves considerably.
So okay, let me go to the bigger question. This is conceptual. In the 19th century, say there were so many printing presses that probably didn't have many different print sets, fonts then.
That's correct.
So that means conceptually, you could basically take any book and plug and upload it, and it would probably read pretty well in the long run.
Sure.
Without having to look at a particular layout of a particular book, just seeing the lines as it is, as does OCR normally with Latin.
The books don't have so much structure, yes. But the journals, so what happens is that, for instance, these newspapers, they may have 6 columns, and the books are better preserved than newspapers. They are printed better. So you are correct. If you work on a single book, and because the typography doesn't change as much, especially in Ottoman Turkish, as opposed to, for example, Arabic, it's much easier to recognize. You're correct about that. There's much less variation.
So soon we will be able to have, one way or another, OCR tool that will work without having to look at something that's already been put in your database and uploaded. We'll be able to eventually do it ourselves.
You could do yourselves with our
there should be available, leaving aside proprietary matters, there should be available tools that will do it with your own upload of a single book.
Yes, our hope is that we will do it such a good job that we will have almost everything. So
all the books, all of Ottoman printed books on your website.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah. Okay, well,
Because
we'll subscribe in that case for sure.
Sure, but at the end, it's not an endless universe. Ottoman printed universe is limited, so we aim to grasp all the printed ones.
Understand. Well, if something you missed, I'll let you know. Some books.
Okay, yeah,
we'll figure out and add them too.
We can be in touch. Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much, Victor, and also for the answer. Now, there is a question from Yunus Emre Tortamış. Hi, thanks for the presentation. Does that OCR depend on an Ottoman dictionary, just like Abbey Fine Reader? If it does not, any plan to develop such a dictionary? I'm asking because dictionary considerably improve the quality of text recognition.
Okay, I will answer this question if you don't mind. Okay. So first of all, our engine doesn't depend on an Ottoman dictionary. It is true, like Yunus Emre is correct. Typically what you do is you turn the text image into text again, and then using a dictionary or other textual devices, you correct it. That's the classical idea. Post 2010, you don't need it as much. And I could tell you the following. The model we have, which is basically turns visual information into textual information, actually learns a little bit of Ottoman, which I mean is the following. So there was an example where I think we have the word for Holland, and it was misprinted in the original print. So when we look at our textual version for the mistake, so the mistaken one was written correctly in Ottoman, although it was not written correctly in the page. So it learns a little bit. It at least learned, what Holland is in Ottoman. So so there's that. We didn't have a plan to develop a dictionary. Because we already have very high text recognition quality.
Also, I can add that. Sorry. I can add that there isn't enough Ottoman dictionary to grasp all the Ottoman printed literature. I can say that because all the Ottoman Turkish dictionaries are mostly the combination of Arabic and Persian dictionaries, and they are not based from the public publications in periodicals and books. So sometimes there isn't any Ottoman Turkish lexicon yet. So if we had one, maybe you will be right that even if with our artificial intelligence based tool is much better than that, but beyond that, we don't have any. Yes, there is Lexicamus. Lexicamus is using which is our friend. Lexicamus is using the words, the dictionaries that are published, but for text recognition, you need more than that.
Yeah, you need, for example, human names,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Bellini.
So
Thank
I could add something more. Actually, we had discussions with Turkish Language Society long ago, to build a device to help them prepare dictionaries. But unfortunately, that idea didn't lead to anywhere. But I'd like to thank you, Semra, for this idea to prepare a dictionary. Perhaps we could actually prepare our own dictionary, not for us, but for others to use.
Thank you. As I said, I have several more questions, and one of them is, you mentioned, Kürşat, you were saying in a book, it's easy, it's a little bit more standard, but there are so many different typesets that have been used. For instance, the Muteferrika print books have a certain typeset, but 19th century books have a very different typesets. And then there's a lot of books that actually have not been printed in the traditional sense, but then mimeographed, like taş baskı.
Sure,
So
okay.
your search engine, once you have the ÖZG collection of all printed books, I don't know how many of the printed books are in the ÖZG catalog are actually in the ÖZG collection. I think ÖZG collection is not as wide as the catalog, but let's say you put all of the ÖZG collection, you digitize it all, that will include a lot of mimeographed, sort of really handwritten, but then multiple somehow printed texts. Will your OCR, or does your OCR already recognize them? Does it work with them?
Well, we didn't try, or we didn't test it. I've seen lithographic prints, and
yeah, that is the word. I'm sorry, lithographic. That is the word. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, I mimeograph lithographic. That is what I am.
when you look at lithographic prints, I think the only thing that comes to mind to me is that sometimes at the end of a line, to to fit everything, they sort of make a little fitting thing, right? It goes, the line goes, and then there is something extraordinary. Other than that, they look very regular. So I think it would work. Maybe the accuracy will fall a little bit, but like if you add a bunch of lithographic books to your like training set. So the way this works is that you need some information called training set. This turns in this allows you this, you train your engine, and then at the end of that you're able to read text that you have never seen before. So I think if you add that would be okay.
And we
I
also
see.
tried that the books in 1820s, 1830s, the fonts can be different with the ones with the 1920s, 1930s, 19 or something like that. So we tried that they work properly with different fonts, but not with the lithographic ones, to be honest.
But I guess this is machine learning. Machine.
Yes.
If you teach it, you're saying it's probably going to pick it up. Now, I have more questions, but I'm going to keep them for later because there's on chat more questions coming up. Let's see. I wonder, this is from Ali Gürer. I wonder
This is
if
now
you,
a machine learning question.
sorry?
This is a machine learning question now from
Oh,
Ali.
I wonder if you use convolutional neural network to generate features for the training. Yeah, I don't even know what this means. I guess
CNN.
it's a very technical question. I'll let you pick it up. Please go ahead.
Well, there are different kinds of neural network algorithms or structures, let's say. Yeah, Ali Gürer is correct. We use what he says, convolutional neural network. Convolutional neural networks are, I think, like it's pretty close to how the eye functions. But we use more because, so for instance, for those who live in United States, in 1995 or so, you could go to the bank and put your check into the ATM and get your money. That was done by done by a convolutional neural network. So that was the first example of these deep learning techniques in practice. But we use more and other models like we use LSTMs. I'm assuming you understand what that means. So we have a very complicated, we have rather complicated models for several different tasks. Yes, they feature convolutional neural networks also.
Thank you. Here are, I'll ask you another one of my questions. In the one conversations we had some months ago when you two first showed me this with Servet-i Fünun only, we were also sort of like dreaming about where this could go. And you mentioned, if I remember correctly, that you were in the long term planning to include in your larger database things, the printed material from Ottoman Empire that is not in Ottoman Turkish. Is that something that you are continuing to consider as we go? Materials in, for instance, I was specifically asking on our scripts in which Turkish was written, Armeno-Turkish or Greco-Turkish or Hebrew-Turkish, but also like texts in Hebrew, texts in Arabic, texts in Greek, texts in Armenian. Is this something is it in your long-term vision?
Well, we'd like to pursue that dream. It's just, at the moment, Ottoman Turkish is proving difficult enough. Once this is done, yes, we would like to, like add. So our plan is, like these current collections of Hakkı Tarkus and Özege, then like add more from Ottoman Turkish. Once we are fine, like we are very close to almost all resources from Ottoman Turkish, we'd like to move on to, like other languages and alphabets used in and around, the Ottoman geography. We still have that idea. We actually had, we were trying to allocate like Turkish written in Armenian or vice versa. We were looking for those resources. We had some chats. The difficulty is, the access. So it is at several levels. We have to locate where the books and periodicals are, whether they are, so that's one level of access. Then you have to scan them. So would the authorities allow you to scan them or not? And then, then you have to order this information. So the most difficult part of what you see here is that it's not the artificial intelligence part. There is tons of human work involved here. So for instance, like if you go to Hakkı Tarkus, what you see is images that are printed on 2 pages. We actually split them into 2. So, that doesn't take so much human effort, but, then we go find the cover pages, we identify cover pages, we date them, we write their numbers, issue numbers, so on and so forth. So, so we would have to go through these. So that requires us to have collaborators or people who are working for us, who are experts on, so suppose you want to do Armenian, you need to know, or you need to find people who know Armenian, and then you could work with, so on and so forth. So if we could manage that, that's our plan.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, since both of you are here, the question of, the commercialization of this, because at the end of the day, you're doing all this work, you need to, in order to keep it going, you need to make it somehow monetized too. So my understanding from our last conversation was that in the long term, your vision was sort of easier access to the reading of this material, such as Hakkı Tarıkus, for free to everyone, but search engine for subscribed libraries only. And am I understanding that more or less correctly? What would you say? How is that going to be in, let's say, in a year from now, when like you say, and let's say you put all of the material online, who will have what kind of access? What will be the lines drive, sort of limiting access for some, giving others more? Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Well, it's pretty much, the way you described it. So I was reading the Orhan Yalmaz's comment. So yes, we plan to monetize this by offering universities and other research institutions a database, much like early Arabic printed books or anything you can imagine. And our plan is, well, I mean, these materials are on the web anyways. The ones you see from Hakkı Tarıkus are actually the master copies of what you see on the web. That's the reason why they are much better. We didn't do anything particular to them. They were provided to us by Kayako Hayashi, the president of Tokyo University of Foreign Studies, who was part of this effort to digitize Hakkı Tarıkus collection. So, and the other ones are already on the web, offered by Erzurum Atatürk University. So we didn't do anything particular about this. So you could always reach them. Our deal is that, we will provide searching functionality and some other discovery functionality for the university or research institutions, and everyone would be able to go to Hakkı Tarıkus. We will update it to state of art, let's say. So at the moment, the problem with Hakkı Tarıkus is that it's bundled in deja vu files, which makes it people to access. For this bundling also is not good on metadata, let's say, because you have 200 issues of Akbaba in one file, so you can't go to, say, let's say the 53rd issue if you want it. So we are actually working on that. We've worked on, we are splitting these things into issues. So we are preparing a new edition, if you like, and so we are going to put this online, and now you will be able to go to Tokyo University of Foreign Studies Hakkı Tarıkus Library, or a version of it. possibly we will be keeping it for them, and you will be able to read, like you want to read Akbaba 53rd issue, you'll go click Akbaba 53rd, and then you will see a nicer page because it uses not the downgraded version but the original version in a good software. Let me put it that way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So even if let's say I don't work at a library that has a subscription, I'm going to benefit from your work by having more readable access to something that is right now not easy to access, which actually I experienced. I tried to use, even though my research in the 16th, 17th centuries, at some point I was looking something up in late Ottoman journals, and there was a lot of problems with Akbaba, so that will become all clear. So what we need to do then, those of us who work at American institutions, is to let our librarians know about your work, put them in touch with you, and then tell them that your work would help us a whole lot in our research, and then hope that they will be working with you to make it available for us in our institutions, and then maybe you do similar things. I'm hoping our European colleagues would also pick this up, because early English books online is a standard, more or less, today. So it would be great for places where there have Ottoman studies, Middle East studies, to have this kind of thing standard too. Let's see, there are a few comments coming up that I don't want to miss. Orhan said, thank you. Oh, and yes, of course, several librarians are here today. This is a very exciting project, says Roberta Dougherty. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I actually did get in touch with some librarian colleagues and hope that they could spread the news of this event. And I'm glad it worked. At least a few librarians are here. This is wonderful. So please get in touch with Ozan and Kürşat. Their contact information was earlier on the screen. I will personally work with librarian colleagues at the UC system to see whether we could make the UC system work with Miletos to make Muteferriqa available. And, that's how we can only sort of improve this. Because so far, I guess you've been investing into the project, Kürşat and Ozan, but you need to, at some point, be able to get something out of it so that you can invest more and grow it, so that you don't.
That's correct. Yes.
Making everything available online, including Armenian and everything, would be realizable, right?
Our dream was like, you're working on 19th century Lebanon, Beirut, and you'll search at the same time like French newspapers, Ottoman, Arabic, Armenian, and some other, if there is like British journals at the same time, like searching for one phrase and go all the directions at the same time. We are dreaming about that.
Inshallah. Yes.
Inshallah.
Yes, that'd be great. That'd be great. Any other questions? Any last words, comments from anyone?
Actually, like Ozan, if you could go back to the previous slide.
Sure.
So these are the actual addresses. So anything you've seen today, I mean, we are using these addresses to, like more is coming on both of these URLs. But if you like to go and register now and use these resources for yourself, you could for a time. I think for about 6 months, we are going to keep everything online for everyone to see. Maybe we'll do a bit more, but so feel free to use them now.
Let me show you the logout.
And one more thing, Ozan also showed the Ito archive.
Yes.
That's already online, and it covers from 1885 until 2020. So I guess for most people here, it would be interesting for the first 35, 40 years or so. But it's also available. It's there, own printing, on their own publication, from pretty much when the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce started.
I added the registering page of periodicals. It's the same with the books also. You can register and start using. Randy, there isn't any Vakfıya collection for now, but we also would like to add our abilities to read, to recognize the handwritten Ottoman Turkish also. Soon, not so soon, but soon, not so far. Soon we would like to recognize the handwritten Ottoman Turkish, and then we can add the manuscripts, and the documents in Ottoman archive will be searchable with keywords.
Just to add to Randy's question, I guess another small dimension. Of course, there is no original Vakfıya in your collection. However, if an Ottoman Turkish journal published Vakfıya in late 19th, early 20th century during its publications, doing sort of an edition of a Vakfıya, it might appear. So Randy, you could actually search the term Vakf in it, or Vakfıya in the journals, and then maybe you'll come across to a published version of a Vakfıya in one of the journals. That could probably happen as we speak, but recognition of handwritten stuff is probably going to take a while. I can imagine that. Christian Atanasov says, I think good job. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you, actually, everybody, for joining this presentation. Special thanks, of course, to Ozan and Kürşat doing all this work and now showing it to us. And I hope we can help them by connecting them with our libraries and research institutions so that they can keep doing what they're doing and eventually make it all accessible to everybody at some point in the future. All right, thank you. And again, let me remind everyone, we have 3 WhatsApp meetings coming up this month in August and September. They were all at the beginning of this presentation. I showed them to you on a PowerPoint. In the recording, they'll be there too. Sign up and come join us in the next WhatsApp meeting later this month. Okay. Victor is asking, wow, Ottoman manuscripts and documents too? You mean simply Nesih text? Okay, since he asked, let's go over this question. Victor says, can you give us a short aperçu where this technology stands with handwritten documents in general, say Western Latin manuscripts? I think in Western manuscripts, people can read handwritten now, because I remember reading an email about this recently, sort of an announcement and forwarding it to you. But in Arabic script, is there any technology available at the moment to make handwritten readable?
There are actually, I mean, in the tech world, there are actually, competitions for, Arabic handwritten text recognition, right? We use the same ideas, we use the same technology, we develop our version of it. So, yes, you can, so I'm trying to answer it. Yes, you can. I think manuscripts are easier than other versions, other forms of documents.
The documents,
yeah. The problem is that, the big difference between handwritten versus printed is that printed is rectilinear, which, enforces some kind of structure on where things are. So, like, again, you should remember that, the computers don't understand what goes together with what. So, and, the proxy for that is, physical distance, typically. So what goes together with what. So, for example, we've looked into, there were cases where we looked into defters, for instance, like tapu defterleri, so on and so forth. The difficult, one of the, in later times, tapu defterleri wasn't that difficult, but for example, with the nüfus defterleri, right? What happens is that you don't have lines, you have sort of a tree structure. It looks like a pine tree, right? And then there are, you have stuff like, like something is written, somebody crosses over that, and then something else is written, so on and so forth. So the difficulty, if you give me if you give anyone a single line, that's not difficult to read. What is difficult to read is putting all those, making sense of what goes together with what. That's the moment. That's correct. The Maryland University has a project. They are trying to build a universal Arabic script recognition engine, and they can recognize Arabic. They could recognize Farsi, I think, so on. But again, I'm not very sure about how good that's about when you have a complex formation of text. That's the difficult part. Again, like our current engine doesn't recognize handwritten stuff, but we could easily update it so that it could recognize single lines. The difficulty is when you have a complex document where things go upside down in different directions. That's the difficult part.
I would like to, as a historian, I would like to give artificial intelligence vision to my historian friends. As a historian working in, employed in artificial intelligence company, if something can be done by human, it can be done by machine. So if you can read it, if you can read the Ottoman handwritten text in documents or in manuscripts, etc. So machines, computers can learn to read that. We know we can do that.
How soon? How soon?
I can't say today or tomorrow. I can't say, but not so far away.
Less than 50 years. Less than 50 years.
Few years.
Yeah.
Before 3 years. I can say. I assure.
Okay, I'll challenge you. Like the IBM computer with Johnny and Bobby and Kasparov, I'll challenge you, your machine to document and see who can read it, your machine or me.
The idea, of course, is not that it makes...
by letting your university know about Muteferriqa.com. It would be wonderful for them to have a connection in Canada too. Sure. In order for them to work more on this, they need to be able to put their stuff onto use by the library. So we can help them by connecting them with our librarians, and then pray that our institutions will find the project worthy enough to invest, so that Kürşat and Ozan can put those funds in work to make it possible for their OCR to read handwritten documents sooner.
Yeah, fine.
I think that's hopefully good object to have. Someone was asking me to share my screen one more time for the coming up WhatsApp meetings, and that's what I'm going to do. Ozan, if you could stop yours, I'm just going to remind everybody of our meetings, coming up meetings in the summer. So what we have this month is on Wednesday, July 21st, Geographies and Histories of the Ottoman Supernatural Tradition, with Marinos Saryannis chairing it. With several participants of this European Research Council funded project. In August, we have the Greek Revolution and Ottoman Studies, Problems, Methods, and Revisions, with Professor Cemal Kapadar from Harvard chairing, and then Hakan Erdem, Ioannis Grigoriadis, Şükrü Ilıcak, and Christine Pelliu participating. And then in September, we have Janissaries in Ottoman port cities, Muslim financial and political networks in the early modern Mediterranean, with Yannis Spiropoulos chairing, and İrfan Koktaş, Mehmet Mert, and Aysel Yıldız participating. So, and there might be one more OTSA Co-op meeting over the summer. I recently received sort of a proposal. I'll follow up with that and let you know. And there might also be a Turkey Now meeting on academic freedom in Turkey that we started working on, hopefully, but you would receive emails. I add everybody who registers for one of our meetings to our email list, And then you're, of course, free to unsubscribe as soon as you see such an email. But I do add you as a participant in one of our events in case you might want to hear about our future events, and you'll hear new ones if they come up. And then on the chat, there's one more question here. How can we connect to our libraries? In that case, who should we contact? So the best thing to do, if you work at an institution that actually has a dedicated Middle East librarian, I think that would be the person to contact at your institution, and then tell the person, you know, I was at this YouTube on this virtual event. I'm going to post this. This whole thing is recorded and it's going to be posted online, and then you can give the link, the YouTube link, to your librarian and say, this is what I watched. This is going to really improve my research. I think I could really make use of this, and then make a case for it, and then see how the librarian responds. And from there, the librarian would take it up with the administration. As far as I know, these things, unfortunately, in many institutions, our administrations don't always do what we want them to do. So it might take a little work, a little additional work in preparation, how to lobby it, you know, bring people together, maybe reach out to them, go talk in person, etc., and then connect them with Ozan and Kürşat, whose email addresses were earlier on the screen. Let's see. Victor says, thanks very much for the presentation. We are put on notice, or actually looking forward to no longer using our lives up figuring out, or at least deciphering Ottoman documents and defters. Well, it's probably going to take a while for people to develop the handwritten OCR, Victor. I think you and I will still be reading for a while handwritten documents, but the next generation might be in a better shape.
Thank you, Victor.
If the resources, Robin writes, things are a little easier. If there's a subscription, then a license is necessary and then takes a bit more time, says Robin. I guess what Kürşat was saying was that in the first few months, whatever is on muteferriqa.com is going to be free for everybody. But after a while, I think there's going to be two layers of access. That what is free is going to be a much better version of Hakkı Tarık Us, but in terms of being able to search with a search engine, that's going to be layered for institutions, as far as I can understand. All right, so okay, everybody, have a wonderful day today, and then once I put this up, I will let everybody know where on YouTube you can find it with an email.
Is it possible for us to share the slides too? You know, there was someone who asked for them. So,
oh, you mean the slide with your contact information? Sure, please.
Sure, you know, like the PDF for this presentation. We are happy to share it to anyone.
Yeah, if you can, sorry. If you can email me like this, ozan@miletos.co, I can send you this presentation for sure. And I missed someone asked.
Yeah, that
Nevra
in touch with you. Yes.
Yeah.
Nevra says that will be great.
Thank you, Nevra. If you can email me, I'll send you for sure.
All right, wonderful. Have a great day, everyone. And I hope to see all of you at a WhatsApp event or Turkey Now event or another OTSA Co-op event later this summer. Thank you. Take good care. Bye.